I was just sitting here and I was like, I need to make a video reminding people to look into Dr. Mary Newport. Like, Dr. Mary Newport, if you do not know who this doctor is, she wrote a book called Alzheimer's Disease. What if there was a cure? The fourth macromolecule, the production of ketones. And her husband, Steve, in his 50s, he had early onset Alzheimer's. And she talks about it in this book, which it's tragic. She talks about the relational side of just losing her husband, losing someone you love. At this disease, the rate of it goes average time duration 12 years. People really have symptoms and struggle with it. So it is like a long-term disease. And the most fascinating thing about it is that it starts decades prior. And we can see this through insulin resistance. So everybody should be going to look into her because she literally gave her life to this work. Like, insulin resistance is light resistance. Insulin resistance is, a lot of us are struggling with it. The CDC came out a few months ago and said 1 in 3 teens are pre-diabetic. Years ago when she wrote that book, I believe it was 1 in 4 adults were pre-diabetic. But everyone's struggling with this stress response, fight and flight. We're stuck in this high cortisol state, this high beta wave state, speed racer frequency. And we develop insulin resistance and we lose track of our ability to go into these restorative states of healing the body. A lot of this has to do with diet. I always talk about this, delta wave state, and Dr. Mary Newport. Let her be the one who speaks because way more qualified than I am. I'm just extremely excited about all this, really and truthfully. And because understanding glucose and diabetes and insulin has really helped me in my journey with feeling a lot better. Insulin, glucose, all of this is like energy in the body. It's how you feel. It's like, do I feel like the world is so heavy and it's gray, it's colorless, or do I have joy and excitement and connection in my body? Like, it literally is the difference between hell and heaven. And who are you without your memory? So she's writing about her husband, Steve, early onset dementia in his 50s. And he like is going to go get a spoon out of the drawer to eat the cereal. And he can't remember what he's doing. He can't come back to the table. He comes back with a knife. He can't remember how to dress himself. He goes to cut the lawn and he ends up taking apart the whole entire lawnmower and doesn't cut the lawn. He keeps losing one side of his shoes and is misplacing things all around the house. Who are you without your memory, you know? So her passion was her, losing her companion in life, the person who she loved the most. And I remember when she was writing about this, I remember one thing in the book that was really sad was she said that he forgot who she was. So they were like walking down in the hallway together and he just rammed her into the wall, like, probably playing or whatever. I don't even know. But like, it's a sad disease. And honestly, I know 2 people who I've met recently in the last year who have this disease. And when I meet them, like, it's like when I talk to them, they're so sweet to me, but they don't remember meeting me. Like, I have to tell them how we know each other. And, it's interesting. It's an interesting disease. So Dr. Mary Newport, and then when I was thinking about her, I was thinking here, and I was like, a car, oil changes. Oils, fats in the body. Oils, it's confusing because we call them olive oil, coconut oil. But what are these oils? They're fats. Fats make up the brain. 60 to 80% of the brain. They make up every single cell membrane is a lipid bilayer. When the lipid bilayer is compromised, our hormone communication is compromised because basically the cell is blind. And I just hope that my intention is to be as accurate as possible, so please forgive me if I'm ever wrong. And do your own research, like I said. Anyway, the cell membrane is a barrier to the outside, okay? It's like looking around at what it's getting from the outside. It's looking at the bloodstream. What hormones are elevated? Like, is cortisol elevated right now? Okay, well, I'm going to turn on certain genetic pathways that are receiving the signal and I'm working to intake this blood sugar into the cell. Is the sugar low? Okay, well, I'm going to work these genetic pathways to break down energy and to keep the sugar levels stable. So the cell's always busy, it's always at work, but it can't function properly. Like, it's a tent. Like I always say, it's a hole, it's a tent. Like if you go camping and you have a hole in your tent and it rains, you're gonna get wet. Like the cell, if it's compromised in its barrier, it's gonna be in chaos. Like, it's meant to have a healthy membrane. Cholesterol is an important part of that. Vitamin D is as well, like all the minerals and all the nutrients. That's why I always say I'm biased to animal-based proteins. But even in Dr. Mary Newport's work, she talks a bit about diet as well. Fats, oils. Got to keep the oil change. Got to keep things oiled up and going. So that's what I was thinking about. I really love the body. I love the way that we function. Like years ago, the reason why I got to this moment, I guess, is that like I really was struggling with my health. And the worst thing, if I could go back and talk to my little 19-year-old self, would just be, Rachel, look at how much your light exposure affects your biology. Look at it. Stop staying up all night long. Stop staying up till 7 a.m. You don't need to pull an all-nighter. It's not going to help. Go to sleep when it's dark outside. Wake up and go into the sunlight. If I could tell my 19-year-old self anything, my 16-year-old self, anything, it would be that. It would be to look at your light at night. Like this light here. I got my blue light blocker. At night. Like right now, the time has just changed. I was thinking about this too right before the video. Just so many thoughts. You don't have to listen to the time change standards. Like you look at the clock right now, it's dark outside. It's starting to get dark at 6 p.m. Right now, my plan A, is to stick towards the light. I always struggle a lot with this time change during the winter, with it getting dark so earlier. It's like depressing to me for it to get so dark so early. But it's just, right now I'm trying to go to bed a little bit earlier. Wake up, I eat breakfast. That sunlight, that, you can tell how vibrant the sun is if you don't know the UV. You can look on your weather app and it'll tell you the UV of where the sunlight is, so that you can like get easier rays of the sunlight if you're working to train your body into the light cycle. The earlier rays and the later rays in the day, they're more gentle with our biochemistry. They tickle our mitochondria. So it's like, basically it's like walking before running, right? So you can build up your solar callus being in the sun with those gentler rays by looking on your app and seeing what the UV is at what time. But, and then I start eating earlier because the time is earlier that the sun is out. And then I, try to get a majority of my calories earlier and nutrients so that I can biochemical cascade. And I try to stop eating once it's dark outside. And, it really the time has only been changed for one day. But, I'll keep y'all posted. I usually struggle a lot, but it was nice to wake up with the sun this morning and practice the early breakfast and just being in a, like that's weird change state, where everything seems earlier. But that's the plan. Our insulin sensitivity, talking about Dr. Mary Newport's work in diabetes, basically, so if I didn't say it and if it wasn't obvious, diabetes is marked by insulin resistance. And one of the things that's incredible in her work is she goes into other types of neurological diseases that are all involved with insulin resistance as well. And, that's fascinating. A lot of people, we just get out of touch with our body. Her work is great. But insulin resistance is light resistance. When we go into the sunlight, we're giving our cells a signal to break down our food. That's why we break down We make the most melatonin in the sunlight because we're breaking down amino acids when we go in the sun. When we exercise, we're going into the sun. These are light practices. Light practices. Exercise, sunlight, even fasting to help you get in your rhythm, you know. And so insulin resistance, we always want to go towards insulin sensitivity, you know, a meditation practice. Just knowing that everything is working out in your highest favor all the time. That's probably the biggest thing. Yeah. So, I don't know if I finished telling you about myself earlier that I was struggling when I was in college, but, you know, I didn't realize how much of the food really was impacting me at the time. So now I try to eat like a nutrient-dense diet first and foremost. And then I will have fun and enjoy things. Like today, I was blessed with a little bit of lemon mascarpone cheesecake. So delicious. So yummy. And, you know, I ate my protein earlier before in the day. So I just try to prioritize my nutrients. And then if the dessert gods bless me, you know, we celebrate, you know. But I try to prioritize my nutrients first and then have fun, you know. Work hard, play hard, you know. And keep yourself well oiled. The fats are so incredibly important. Again, look into Dr. Mary Newport, and her work will prove that. And I hope that you have a beautiful night. I hope that you're able to prioritize the nutrients so that we can all be more in the delta wave state, this harmonic state, which improves our memory function, improves our immune function, improves our quality of life, our muscle mass. I just wish you the best. I love you so much. If you've watched until now, thank you. I can be a little chaotic and scattered sometimes when I'm just talking about things, but I appreciate you for being here, and you can like, share, and subscribe if this was helpful. But as always, good luck.